I have some information to share with you guys. I want to talk about our short film Undelivered that we just posted recently on the channel. I want to talk about the wins and losses that we learned on the film, because I think that talking about it will be really good for you guys to learn from our mistakes. I always love to kind of just have these moments where I talk to the camera after shooting the film and I kind of just digest what we've done so that we can get better and make better movies. So let's get into it. So first, before we start getting into lessons, I have to go into the backstory of Undelivered. Back in 2020, Dustin came to me with this story idea about a real-life Uber delivery driver. It was his friend who rigged the system on the early stages of Uber. I mean, basically, he would order the food, and he would be able to cancel the order after he had already picked it up, and then he would just eat it. And I thought it was such a funny premise. It reminded me a lot of Drive, it reminded me a lot of Nightcrawler. Kind of got into the story that way because I thought it would be really funny to have a character who thinks he's in those movies, but he's actually just doing like a very petty crime, you know, like nothing that big of a deal. And I usually gravitate towards stories that are like that are heavily contrasted by the content of which they're talking about, but done in a serious manner or vice versa. Those are types of stories are something that I really like to do because it's just fun for me. It's interesting to me. We had the script ready, and in summer of 2022, we actually started shooting it. Yes, 2022. So for context, we just released it, and it's 2024 right now. So first mistake that we made was we did not have set shooting days for Undelivered. Basically had the idea that we were just going to kind of shoot a little here, shoot a little there. Some weekends we would do a bunch and we get super burnt out in one day. Literally burnt out because it was August in LA and it was hot as hell, which is not a very comfortable way of shooting. It is incredibly hard to get a group of people together that you are not paying, by the way. If you're doing a no budget film or a micro budget film, it is incredibly hard to get working filmmakers all together in a room. You just need a producer from the very beginning who can split up your film efficiently and knows how to group different shoots together. Some days where we would have multiple scenes and we would be rushing to get it done. And then other days we would just do a little part of a montage. To have start times, you need to have wrap times on shoot days. It's just so important into getting things done, because if your plan is to, we'll just figure it out, you won't figure it out. You will not figure it out, I promise you. And that naturally kind of brings us to one of the issues that we also had was the script. A short needs to be short. Simple as that. Otherwise, it's a jort. Stupid. Undelivered was about 20 pages in the script, and it came out to be about around there, 20 minutes long. 20 pages is a lot to shoot. That's a big task, and for the most part, I've pretty much decided that going forward, any of my shorts that I write now are under 10 pages. Otherwise, I'm just probably not going to do it. If you realistically can shoot a short in 2 days, that's very ideal. Because I think that we had so many locations in the shoot, which is, you know, a lot of people really liked Undelivered because that it had so many variety of locations, which is great. But that's also why it took so long, is because there was so many locations. We wrote so many different locations into it. And then montages. There are 2 montages in the film, and montages are the bane of my existence now because they are essentially music videos. They're separate music videos in the film that require a ton of coverage. We would spend multiple days spread out across the month trying to get these montages done because there was just so much to shoot. We had so many different locations, and they would only be on screen for less than a minute. Like, we would spend half a day shooting them, and then they would only be on screen for half a second. So it's just, you got to be efficient. You got to be efficient with your script. And for the most part, short films, if you want to get them in film festivals, they need to be under 10 minutes for the most part. If you can get them under 15, 10-minute range, that's the sweet spot for short films. If you're going over, you're not making a short, you're making an episode of television, you're making a feature film. So good to know from there. So back to the timeline of all this. We finished shooting Undelivered in March of 2023. A mixture of scheduling conflicts, people getting sick, vacations, and just general burnout. We were finally able to finish shooting the film. But it is 2024, which means Undelivered sat in the hard drive for over a year. Editing is perhaps one of my favorite parts of the filmmaking process. It feels like you have all these fun toys and scenes at your disposal, and now you just got to put it together. But that can be an issue when you have so much footage and so many choices to make. Here's a learning moment here. You got to have deadlines in post. You got to blast through the assembly cut, have a deadline for when you're going to have it done, have people that you're going to show it to, plan on getting the color done, plan on having a deadline for the color, plan on having a deadline for the audio. Make sure you have deadlines for it, because otherwise it's just going to sit in a hard drive and be undelivered. Sorry, I couldn't resist. It was too easy. After over a year of editing, color, audio, all these things going back and forth on it, it was time to just put it out. Undelivered was never going to be perfect. It was always just a stepping stone. You know, I would have loved to have said that our first film was a masterpiece, you know, but it never was going to be that. A couple years ago, when we were first talking about Undelivered, I sat everybody down, the cast and crew, and I put a PowerPoint presentation together. And in that presentation, I said two things that were very important to me. I wanted Undelivered to teach us a lot, and I wanted to sit down in a movie theater and watch it together with all of our friends. And that's what we did. And it was really sweet and really, really nice, and a very good moment. And that's exactly what we got out of it. So I'm very happy about that. The best thing that came out of Undelivered is that I was able to fail and learn in real time, to have instant feedback, you know, to be able to do something wrong, look at the footage and be like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, or this looks really good, we should continue doing this, you know. There's a feeling that I have on set now that I think Undelivered taught me, which is when something, a big moment happens in a scene, an actor gives a really good performance, or some sort of action happens and you're like, ooh, everyone on set is just like, oh, this is good. We're working on something good. That is a really good feeling to have. And when you can sense that as a director, it's really important. You can never just learn in a book. You have to feel it, you know, you have to go out and shoot it to understand what that feels like. And it's pretty awesome. Speaking of working with actors, that's another skill that you just simply cannot just study in books or listen to audiobooks or podcasts and stuff. You have to go out and do it. You have to work with actors. And I think that Undelivered really gave me a wide variety of different scenes to work in. Our last film that we shot, we just powered through it so efficiently. We got it done 2 hours early on one of the days. Our second day was super chillax. We did a great job. And I think that Undelivered really helped us learn how much time certain things take and able to schedule things. And then everybody left and we were just happy, you know, like everyone was in a good mood. No one was uncomfortable. No one was stressed out. We got what we wanted and we were happy with it and we finished on time. And I think that that's like a great feeling to have as a director, is that you ran a set efficiently and people on the crew were happy. It's a very rare thing to do. So being able to learn that from Undelivered is priceless. So there it is, guys. That's the story of Undelivered. I hope that this video was instructive for you. It was definitely very helpful for me to just write all of these thoughts down and just like voice them to somebody, you know. That's what Inside the Fire is all about. This series is all about just kind of digesting everything that we learned on these shorts and sharing it with you guys, and maybe we can share stories together. So it's all a learning process, you know. So really enjoy that. If there's one thing I can say that you should take away from this, is that if you want to make a movie and you want to learn how to make a movie, just go make a movie, because that is the best way to learn. It's just by doing it. There's no other way. You can't just read a book and just know how to make a movie. You have to go do it. So it's very exciting. It's kind of scary, but it's great. Speaking of Undelivered, go check it out. It's out on YouTube right now. You can watch it in its entirety. You can learn from it. There's going to be a lot of moments where you're like, wow, you did a really good job there. And there's going to be a lot of moments where you're like, could have done better over here, you know? So it's a good movie. It's a lot of fun. It's very fun. We worked hard on it. So go check it out. And that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. So thank you so much for watching to the end, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.